always Buddha's words are interpretable. That's why when Buddha says selfless, every phenomenon is empty, Buddha's disciples are directly interpreting that. Saying, when I say, what does that mean? That means they try to interpret what, because they see I'm here, I'm walking, I'm talking, I'm alive, I'm dead, I'm here, all that, and I'm not there. It's contradicting. I never exist. It's contradicting. So they say there is no contradiction in Buddha's word, which they accept, everybody do accept, which is true. So then the question becomes, what does Buddha mean? So everybody try to explain something. Mostly for Buddhist schools in India try to explain differently. So most of them thought the basis of me has to be something part of mind. So they started searching within the mind. So the mental faculties comes out. Like mental faculties comes out. Like eye consciousness, ear consciousness, and I don't know whether they're mental faculty or mind, a part of mind itself. Eye consciousness, ear consciousness, and nose consciousness, body consciousness. So eye consciousness uses or consumes the forms. Ear consciousness focuses and consumes the sound. Nose does the smell. Body does the touch. And tongue consciousness experience the taste. So each one of them try to put those consciousness as identification of self. And so they think it is so please stop now. So, because that blue light bothers me like terrible. I'm talking about the photograph. These are so temporary. So can't be identification of an individual. So these are the two law schools are really leave the consciousness. All of those. And then, addition to that, the mind-only school thought these are too temporary. So we have to add up two more consciousness on that. So instead of making 6 senses, they make 8 senses. Usual 6 plus negative emotions, or they call it negative mind, and the basis of all, they create a consciousness. You can't create consciousness, but you're creating theoretical point of a separate consciousness and call it Kunshi, basis of all. So Gelek was talking last time here when he was here, talking about before Tsongkhapa, the basis of all is point of base in Tibetan Buddhist tradition. He was right. He asked me, what do you think about those Kadamba Lamas? And those great many Kadamba Lamas, Chekawa, and these, this 7-point mind training, adverse mind training, all of those, and all of them, many of them, we say, ultimately leave your mind on basis of all. So he said, what do you think? And I said, and that's why today's teaching says many of those Kadamba Lamas are. In their viewpoint of view, there could be Chittamantan, mind only, not necessarily Madhyamika, the middle path. Which is true. And then there are some school between the mind-only school that divided into two, mind-only school, intelligent mind-only school, and quotation following mind-only school. Quotation following consider less intelligence because your intellectual capacity is limited, so you rely on quotation. So even school was divided traditionally in India. So the Lungi Jinrang, so this quotation following mind-only school and some lower Hinayana school produce external identity for self, and free of that is called emptiness. So free of that external entity for identifying self, free of that becomes selfless. Get it? Then, little better than that, basis of all, and basis of all is basis of all, but other than that, anything else is empty. So the emptiness quality becomes very different. So the Nagarjuna and Chandrakirti, Jangola Matsongkhapa, says, truly there is nothing. There is nothing truly exists. Everything is circumstances, terms and conditions. Just happen to be right, so just happen to be functioning. Beyond that, nothing ever exists. That is interdependent nature of existing. It's known as interdependent nature of existing or dependent origination, which consider the outstanding understanding. Which are considered outstanding understanding. So when you are talking about it, selfless, not only independent, self-existing less, but the self-existent is only dependent. Is it dependent to the part or parcel? Dependent to cause and effect? There are two different things too. Cause and effect dependent, part and parcel dependent, time dependent, all kinds of different dependence. And so the final view of empty is really truly empty. Empty. And there is something functioning. The functioning is functioned because simply terms and conditions just right. So which today the scientists are very fond of it. Because that's what they're finding. So because of that, when it is dependent, then there is no indivisible, that means not dividable. So indivisible never exists in the Buddhist thoughts. So that's the reason why Buddhism does not accept monotheistic God, monotheistic God, because they're all dividable. I think Buddhists are more atheist. Sorry. I think we are a bunch of atheists getting here, trying to pray. Can you believe it? I don't think we are this, the word I keep on forgetting, agnostic. I don't think we are agnostic, but I think we are definitely atheist from that point of view. Honestly, and beside that, in the Buddha's understanding and ideas, we are totally responsible for ourselves. Now you may think, if I'm not there, how can I be responsible? Right? But the thing is this, the terms and the conditions just right is continuing, impermanently continuing. It's very strange. So the Trungpa Rinpoche had a very beautiful idea I heard, and that is continuation of discontinuity. I think it's a brilliant idea, and that is truth. We continue, but we are discontinuity, because every moment we change. I told you, every phenomena is impermanent. Does not mean somehow, sometime, somewhere it's going to be finished. That is a very gross understanding. Every phenomena is impermanent because the moment you exist, you existed in the nature of destruction. The moment you exist, you started destruction yourself. That's our life is all about does not require another terms and conditions to destroy. It is already attached right from the beginning and continuing. And so the impermanent means you have to understand that way rather than, oh yeah, we're all impermanent, we're going to die one day. That's even 3-year-old kids will know. That's not intelligent. That's not intellectual. That's not quality. That's not knowledge of impermanent. So, these two goes very well together. Empty and impermanent. Subtle impermanent is not emptiness. However, it helps us to understand emptiness much better. So everything, whatever happening in the individual, is changeable, correctable. Nothing is incorrectable, changeable. But it requires create term and conditions. So in Buddhist big four conclusions, every phenomena which is created are impermanent. Every contaminated things are suffering. Remember that again. There are ways and means of Buddhists theoretically measuring the contamination, but let it be very practical. Look in our own mind, and the mind is becoming pure, it is uncontaminated. When the mind has become faulty, then it is contaminated. Remember that? Good. So don't look in the theory and the tenets and theoretical point, but look in mind and draw a conclusion. And then every phenomena is empty and selfless. There's a third one, and the fourth one is nirvana is peace, right? So what does that mean? I told you a number of times, but our mind and its the negative effects are not permanent. So negative effects on our mind are exhaustible. They will go away. When that goes away, then you find peace. Nirvana is that. It's not, this is samsara, that's a nirvana. You walk over there, over the bridge, cross the river, and cross the mountain, you get over there. That's not it. It's all here. Samsara is here, nirvana is here. Hell, heaven, and earth are all here. I'm not a follower of mind-only school, but it is. Okay? So that is why you have tremendous responsibility of doing right for yourself without going to be too much righteousness. If you try to be too much righteousness, you get confused. You get confused. Honestly, because you want it to be very right too strongly. That's why you get confused. So don't try to be too much righteous in anything, even in your work, even in your job. Do the right thing, but don't try to be too righteous. too much righteous get people confused. And then begin to do all kinds of adjustment. All kinds of adjustment. Sometimes the goal becomes so important and the means being ignored. And these are confused state. Means is the actual karma we are creating, is the means of achieving our goal. Goal is so precious, and so that every means will be adjustable. It's not right. In other words, goal should not justify means. That is confused state. Because if you've been too righteous, that will happen. So utilizing your intelligence, rely on your intelligence, making the right thing. It depends on time to time, every work to work, every moment to moment, every function to every function, that you need that intellectual capacity to be not intellectual capacity, but intelligent. Making the right decision is definitely needed for us, human beings today. Because this is such a terrible time, I don't have to tell you how horrible it is in the world today. No matter whoever tries to do something right, it's not possible to be function that much condition what we are. So in this moment, each and every one of us has to contribute our intelligent capacity to do the right thing, to begin with ourselves and then affect our companion, family, society, and fellow beings, fellow citizens, fellow human beings, thereby affecting living beings. And this is our spiritual work. And this is spiritual service. And this is our duty. And that's what it is. Thank you so much.